Now, despite the fact that I'm selling this very lens, it has its few good reasons to actually keep it, and that's why I decided to make this video, because after all, this is a rather good lens. And if you see that the sun is just setting down and it's minus 14 degrees and I don't want to freeze my ass off, I have to keep this video short.
Onyx, mikä bugi?
I need to figure out a good place where we have decent lighting. Now with the clouds and everything, there's no single place where there's cinematic lighting or anything. But yeah, you'll get to enjoy these vlog style shots. Meanwhile, I'm searching for where to put up the camera. Now you see the key reason why I got this lens is because of versatility, and that means for the sake of vlogging. The nice thing is that it has 17 to 28 millimeters of focal range, which means going from this 17 all the way to this 28 millimeter. Now that's a huge difference. Also, you can spice it up a little bit wider if you go all the way out to 17. And then let me just over there disable electronic image stabilization or active stabilization, and now we got even wider field of view. Now, how do you like that? Almost this GoPro kind of style when shooting like this. Now, that's kind of also the same reason why I decided to get rid of this lens. You see, despite the fact that you can get this wide angle view and pretty much showcase everything, I never really actually started using this focal range. Now, to be honest, the entire focal range between 17 and 20 is one that I never really used. The reason being, I very much dislike the distortion. Now, for vlogging, it very much does make sense to have a view like this so you can showcase everything around you. As I'm not making any kind of travel videos, I'm very rarely in the car in such a situation that I need to showcase everything. I really disliked using this focal range because I'm usually at the center point in the frame, the focus, and this focal range distorts the facial features and everything, and it's not good looking, in case you ask me. But you see, that type of distortion, it's not a flaw of this particular lens. It's just a characteristic or technical specification of anything with this focal range. Because I mean, if you pick up a GoPro, you will see the very same appearance in that one. So yeah, buying any other wide-angle lens won't solve that problem. And the only solution is to stop using that focal range. And that's why I decided to stick with this focal range you're seeing right now. And that is 20mm. But that's not the focus of this video. Instead, it's this one, the Tamron. Another nice feature I can't really hide or under the rug or anything is that this lens is weather sealed. Now, having a camera body that's also weather sealed provides plenty of opportunities, especially again for travel vloggers and whatever, that you can be out and about and you can be surprised by a rain shower or not, or in case there's something splashing on your camera, it won't halt your progress, and that's a good thing. Now, what are the other options out there? Sigma, for example, has also one, a 16 to 28mm, which I was considering before buying this one. However, because I found this one used for cheap, it didn't make sense to buy the Sigma as brand spanking new. Also, I already knew before getting this that I will unlikely be using the 17 to 19mm focal range, so that one extra millimeter to 16 didn't really make a huge difference, so I decided to skip out on that. Plus, the occasional vlogging that I'm doing, I figured that the 30 grams that this Tamron does weigh less was more of an advantage to me. Now, regarding sharpness, this lens is plenty of sharp enough. Unlikely will you be encountered with a situation that you're feeling that this lens isn't enough for you, with one exception. Mainly if you're doing paid client work and you demand the sharpest equipment possible. Now, kind of the reason I opted to switch away from this is because I'm using the Sony A7S III camera body, which by all means out there isn't the sharpest camera body out there. Previously I was shooting on the Sony FX30, which is, though being a crop frame camera, I think it has a 6K sensor and it downscales to 4K, and the image that that lens produces, it's definitely sharp. Now the A7S III is nowhere near that one in sharpness, so already like having a baseline sharpness that's below, not below average, but on the bottom half of average, and then pairing it with a lens that's not super sharp. So I mean, you're having two negatives there already at the starting point. Plus that, as I'm doing paid client work, the results that I deliver, I want them to be spot on, perfect. And because this sensor doesn't have the sharpness I need, the lens to give that additional boost or clarity in the sharpness and everything to deliver outstanding footage. And that kind of downplays also the need for the versatility, because as long as I'm behind the camera, I'm not vlogging or anything, I have just the possibility of holding my camera in my hand and zooming out a bit in case I need a wider shot, or then just coming closer in case I need to get a tighter shot. So yeah, when vlogging you really don't have that option, and yeah, these are two completely different usage reasons or usage cases, and it's kind of comparing apples to oranges. Now regarding the aperture, this lens has f2.8, which by any means nowadays, in my opinion, pretty much all lenses should be able to open up to f2.8. Unless you're shooting in really much only daylight, surely you can look at f4, but in case you're just out and about and there is an even slightest chance of you shooting in a low light environment or anything, and having the possibility of opening the lens up to the f2.8 allows just so much more light to enter the sensor, I'm not looking for any lenses that are f4, and I think neither should you. But to showcase the versatility of this, let's go into the car. So I just wanted to showcase that how wide of angle this 17mm truly is. And as you can see, I'm trying to stretch the camera all the way to the other side. It's plenty of wide enough. And now again I'm having the electronic image stabilization off, so I'll get that additional field of view. It's plenty of wide enough. And for the sake of comparison, now we're at 20mm. It's plenty of wide again, but still you can't argue with the fact that having that 17mm makes a huge difference. So yeah, this isn't meant to be a super technical review of the lens. To summarize all of this, in case you are vlogging, you're traveling, you're in various situations where you don't know how cramped you're gonna be or something, this is weather sealed. It's a foolproof lens. You won't go wrong by choosing this one. However, in case you're mainly shooting client work, you're more behind the camera, you have control of framing, moving around, and you have a sensor that's not the sharpest one around there, I'd perhaps instead look at a prime glass instead. And that's my 2 cents about this lens. I'm super glad that I bought it initially and I used it. It's just that I started to prefer the look of a prime lens, and considering the client work and everything, the prime lens just makes more of a sense in my situation. This lens isn't bad at any means at all, and if I just had the economic situation to keep it, I definitely would. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for riding fences with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!